Imagine catching your boyfriend cheating. You don't cry, you don't beg, you don't even argue. You simply end the relationship, go home, get dressed, and head to the club that same night. Now, here's the crazy part. Instead of feeling guilty for cheating, this man actually gets offended that she moved on so quickly. The audacity. That's exactly how After the Breakup by Sonia Uche TV kicks off. And honestly, after seeing why this movie pulled over 3 million views in just 1 week, I completely understand the hype. If you love intense drama like this, hit that subscribe button right now so you never miss our movie recaps. So, let's get into it.
So, the movie opens with Mona stopping by Oliver's house, carrying a perfume she bought as a gift for Salome. Honestly, Mona is just one of those genuinely sweet people. She's thoughtful, respectful, and she already treats the people around Oliver like their family. You can tell she's all in when it comes to this relationship. Now, there's someone else you need to know, Salome. She was raised by Oliver's late father, Chief Jonathan, and trust me, don't overlook her because she's going to play a much bigger role in this story than you might think. Speaking of Chief Jonathan, he recently passed away, but before his death, he left Oliver with one major condition in his will. If Oliver wants to inherit the family company, he has to step up and start running it himself. If he refuses, the company gets sold and the money goes to charity. Seems simple enough, right? Well, Oliver has absolutely no interest in taking over the business. Since his father died, he's basically been avoiding the responsibility altogether. But honestly, that's the least of his problems. Because before we even get to the family business and all that drama, this movie hits us with a betrayal that I genuinely did not see coming.
So, Mona decides to surprise Oliver with a visit. She's smiling, gift in hand, probably expecting a cute moment. Instead, she walks into his bedroom and finds another woman in his bed. Not just any woman, a woman casually wearing her nightdress. Omo, I don't even know what kind of self-control Mona was operating on, because that scene would have sent a lot of people over the edge. But instead of making a scene, she does something Oliver clearly wasn't expecting. She ends the relationship right there. No begging, no shouting, no trying to fight for a man who had already made his choice. And honestly, I respected that. But somehow, the cheating wasn't even the worst part. It was Oliver's response. He looks Mona straight in the eye and says, "We're not married. This is my house, and I can do whatever I want, so leave." Excuse me? This man didn't just cheat. He cheated, got caught, and somehow still managed to act like he was the victim. Thankfully, Salome heard everything. She immediately came in and gave Oliver the dressing down he deserved. And you'll quickly realize that's basically her role throughout this movie. Every time Oliver does something stupid, which trust me, happens a lot, Salome is right there to call him out. After leaving Oliver's house, Mona calls her best friend Precious and tells her everything that just happened. Now, if this were most breakup stories, this is usually the part where the heartbreak begins. Not Mona. She chose a completely different approach. They broke up in the morning. By that same night, she was already at the club. No crying, no sad playlist on repeat, no men are wicked emergency meeting. Just a cute outfit, good music, and a decision that life had to move on. I won't lie, I wasn't expecting that. Now somehow, Oliver hears that Mona went clubbing, and this man is furious. I'm not even joking. He genuinely expected her to be locked in her room crying over him. So he starts complaining to Salome, and Salome just looks at him like, wait, are you actually listening to yourself? You're the one who cheated. She's the one who got hurt. She's trying to move on. At home, you're the angry one. But then Oliver says something that honestly made me pause the movie. He goes, all men cheat. Other men's girlfriends forgive them over and over again. Why can't she forgive me just this once? Sir, who told you that? Salome wasn't having any of it. She looked at him and said,
collect your word. Collect your word.
I won't even lie. He deserved every bit of that. Eventually, Oliver realizes he can't keep running from his responsibilities forever. If he wants to keep the family company, he has to show up and actually do the work, just like his father instructed in the will. But Salome sees right through him. She's convinced the real reason he's suddenly interested in the office isn't the company, it's Mona. So Oliver shows up on his first day, and let's just say he doesn't exactly make the best first impression.
Mr. Chucks takes one look at him and quickly realizes this man knows absolutely nothing about the business. So he makes a decision. Since Oliver clearly needs someone to show him the ropes, he'll be sharing an office with one of the company's best employees. And that employee is Mona. The look on both their faces was priceless. They immediately start protesting. They explain that they're exes, they don't get along anymore, and this arrangement is a terrible idea. Mr. Chucks couldn't have cared less. Basically, he tells them, that's your personal problem. From today, you're office partners. End of discussion. And just like that, these two people who can barely stand each other are stuck in the same office every single day. Mona is actually trying to work, while Oliver is busy playing video games like he's on vacation instead of at the office. The tension between them, you could almost cut it with a knife. But things take a turn when Mr. Chucks rejects the project they've been working on and gives them just 2 days to come up with something completely new. Now they don't have a choice. If they want to keep their jobs, they'll have to put all that awkwardness aside and actually work together.
Just when you think this movie is only about a messy breakup, it throws in another twist. A woman named Tabitha suddenly shows up looking for Oliver and Salome. The moment Salome sees her, her entire mood changes. She's furious. She basically tells Tabitha, after 20 years, this is when you decided to come back, just because Chief is gone. At this point, I was like, okay, who exactly is this woman? Well, not long after, Tabitha approaches Mona also and introduces herself. And what she says completely changes everything. I'm Oliver's mother. Wait, his mother. The same woman Oliver told Mona was dead. Turns out she isn't dead at all. She walked away from Oliver when he was just 2 years old and never came back. Wanting to understand the full story, Mona sits down with Salome, who finally tells her everything about Oliver's childhood and how growing up without his mother affected him. And honestly, a lot of things start making sense. His pride, the way he pushes people away, the way he struggles to admit when he's wrong. You begin to realize this is someone who's been carrying around years of hurt that he never really dealt with. Now, before anybody says it, no, it doesn't excuse the way he treated Mona. Cheating is still cheating, but it does help you understand why he has so many emotional walls. Instead of turning Tabitha away, Mona quietly takes her in. She gives her a place to stay, makes sure she's okay, and keeps it a secret from Oliver. Her hope is that somehow, when the time is right, she can help him mother and son finally have the conversation they've been avoiding for 20 years. As they continue working together, the project slowly starts bringing them closer. Late nights at the office turn into brainstorming sessions at Oliver's house. And before long, the constant arguments start fading. For the first time since the breakup, they are actually talking to each other again. One evening, after they finish working, it gets really late. Mona decides it's time to leave, but Oliver stops her. He quietly tells her she doesn't have to go. Then he says something that catches her completely off guard. All her things, her clothes, everything she left behind after the breakup, were still exactly where she left them. He never threw any of it away. For someone who kept pretending he had moved on, that said more than words ever could. Not long after that, Oliver finally does what he should have done from the very beginning. He goes to Mona's house to apologize. And this wasn't one of those quick, I'm sorry if I hurt you apologies. No, this man completely broke down. He tells Mona that, after his father died, he couldn't stop thinking about the pain his father carried after his mother abandoned him. He watched the strongest man he knew live with that fear every single day. And somewhere along the way, that fear became his too. He admits that he never gave Mona his whole heart because he was always preparing himself for the day she might leave him. So he kept another woman around, not because he loved her, but because he was terrified of being left with nothing. It was messed up. He knew it. And for the first time, he actually took responsibility for it. You could tell Mona was softening. She was this close to forgiving him. Then, Oliver looked past her, and standing inside the house is Tabitha, his mother. Omo, everything changes in an instant. The pain, the anger, the hurt he'd buried for years, it all comes rushing back. He completely loses it. He looks at Tabitha and says, "Don't you dare call me your son. You don't have a son because I don't have a mother." That line, you could feel 20 years of pain behind it. But it doesn't stop there. Oliver feels betrayed, not just by Tabitha, but by Mona and Salome too. In his mind, the people he trusted most had been hiding the one person he never wanted to see again. He storms out furious,
And when Salome tries to reason with him, he shuts the conversation down immediately. Not even my father can come out of his grave and make me forgive that woman. At that point, you just knew this wasn't going to be an easy fix.
After everything that happened, Oliver completely shuts down. He locks himself in his room. He stops going to work. He ignores everyone's calls. It's like he just disappears from the world. Then, Mona decides she's not giving up on him. She goes straight to his house, but Oliver refuses to open the door. So instead of leaving, she stands outside his room and says everything that's been on her heart. She tells him, "I've been with you for 2 years. I saw your flaws and I loved you anyway. But now, I finally understand your pain." Then she says something that honestly became one of my favorite lines in the movie. "I don't just want to love you. I want to help you heal. I want to help you grow. And I want you to know that you deserve to be loved. Don't let someone else's mistakes stop you from accepting the love that's right in front of you." I won't lie, that speech was beautiful. Because she wasn't excusing what Oliver did. She wasn't pretending the cheating never happened. She was simply choosing to love someone who was finally willing to face his brokenness instead of hiding behind it. There was a long silence. Then, the door slowly opened, and just like that, you knew things were finally going to be okay.
From that moment on, things slowly begin to fall back into place. Oliver returns to work. The walls he'd spent years building around himself finally start coming down. And yes, he and Mona officially find their way back to each other. Safe to say, Jeremy didn't stand a chance. The assignment had already been cancelled. But before the movie wraps up, it gives us one of its most heartfelt moments. Oliver sits down with Salome. He thanks her for everything, for stepping up when life forced her to grow up too quickly, for standing by him after his father passed away, for loving him like family, even when he made it difficult. Then he tells her, "You'll always be my sister." Honestly, that scene was simple, but it hit. Just when you think the movie is over, there's one last conversation. Oliver walks downstairs, and Tabitha is waiting for him. This time, instead of shouting, he listens. Tabitha finally tells him what really happened all those years ago. She explains that she never willingly abandoned him. After leaving home, the man she was with used her bank account to steal government funds without her knowledge. She was arrested. She spent years in prison trying to clear her name, and by the time she finally regained her freedom, so much time had already been lost. She tells Oliver her very first thing she did after getting out was come looking for him. Oliver doesn't respond immediately. He just sits there quietly, taking it all in. After everything he'd believed for so many years, this was a lot to process. Then, after a long pause, he finally speaks. "It'll take time, but I believe one day we'll get there." It wasn't instant forgiveness, and honestly I like that, because some wounds don't heal overnight. But for the first time in 20 years, there was hope. The two of them embrace, and Tabitha breaks down in tears. A really fitting ending to a story that was never just about a breakup. It was about healing.
So, was after the breakup what the hype? Considering this movie pulled over 3 million views in just 1 week, I went in with pretty high expectations. And honestly, I can see why people loved it. First of all, let's give credit where it's due. The real MVP of this movie wasn't Oliver, it wasn't Mona, it was Salome. I don't think there's a single scene she appeared in that she didn't make better. Every time Oliver started acting like the CEO of bad decisions, Salome was right there to call him out. She was funny, wise, caring, and somehow managed to hold that entire family together. She genuinely stole the show for me. And speaking of stealing the show, can we please talk about that line?
Igwe, collect this award, because collect your award. Best in uncompleted shooting. Collect it. President General Master of all the uncompleted shooting. Collect the award.
I actually laughed out loud. It was one of those lines that felt so natural that you almost forget you're watching a movie. Now here's something else I really appreciated. I have to give Sonia Uche her flowers as a producer. One thing I like about her productions is that she doesn't always make herself the lead character. A lot of producers would be tempted to put themselves front and center every single time, but she's happy to let other actors carry the story when they're the best fit. I honestly respect that. As for the story itself, I think what made this movie work was that it understood something a lot of romance movies miss. People don't just wake up and become emotionally unavailable for no reason. Oliver wasn't simply a terrible boyfriend. He was a deeply wounded man who had spent years expecting everyone he loved to eventually leave him. Now, does that excuse the cheating? Absolutely not. But it explains why he kept people at arm's length, even the person he loved most. And I like that the movie didn't magically fix him overnight. Healing was a choice he had to make for himself. Muna simply chose to walk that journey with him. That, for me, was the real love story. If I had one complaint, I'd say the reconciliation happened a little faster than I expected. After everything Mona went through, I wouldn't have minded seeing Oliver work a little harder to earn her trust back. But aside from that, I genuinely enjoyed this one. Great performances, funny dialogue, strong emotional moments, and enough how to keep you invested from beginning to end. Oh, and one last thing. Somebody please give Salome her own movie. I'm serious, I'd watch it. For me, this is a solid 8 out of 10.
And that's After the Breakup, a movie that starts with cheating and heartbreak, but ends up being so much more than just another breakup story. At its core, it's really about healing, forgiveness, and how the pain we carry from childhood can shape the people we become if we don't deal with it. Now, I want to hear from you. Did Oliver actually deserve a second chance after everything he did? Or would you have walked away for good if you were Muna? And let's settle this once and for all. Was Salome your favorite character too? Or did someone else steal the show? Let me know in the comments because I already know this one is going to divide opinions. If you enjoyed this recap, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next Nollywood breakdown. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.